Welcome to the Imperial Astrological Society. Are you here to learn about astrology or mysticism? Or did you come here with news from the city guard regarding the overgrown tree out in front? Volas Anethril, an astrologer in training with the society. I sell almanacs, if you're in the market for information on celestial events. Almanacs are useful books that detail the movement of the constellations, track eclipses and occultations over time, and predict auspicious times for planters, travelers, mages, and sailors to conduct their affairs. The Imperial Astrological Society is chartered by the Empire to produce almanacs for official and private use, but many booksellers sell them as well. Our leader, Saryakaviran, has been filing complaints with the city guard regarding that tree for a while. If you have any news or you'd like to speak with Sari about it, you can find her upstairs. She's probably outside on the balcony looking through a telescope.
I can strike a target dead center at 36 paces. I can run like the wind and be as still as a rock. Nothing escapes my sight. Not that this makes any difference to my father. He'll never let me practice hunting without him hovering over my shoulder. I am Thena Astinius, hunter. I am a hunter. I range across the jungles and highlands of Cyrodil, hunting for meat and hides, at least on paper. In practice, it's a lot of waiting around for my father to give me the go-ahead. My family's been hunting beasts throughout the Strident Coast and Brennan Bluffs for generations. My father's trained me well, but he's too afraid to let me hunt without him, even though I have the skill. I'm hearing that a deadly alphen has come down from the Colovian Highlands. It's the perfect quarry, and yet here I am, wasting away in this tavern. Really? I've been trying to convince him for years, and I haven't gotten anywhere. But I suppose it couldn't hurt. My parents' house isn't far from here. It's to the northeast, between Little Orinthia and the marina. A wood elf has a stall set up just across from them. Alphen are large, four-legged predators that look like a cross between an eagle and a tiger. They have nasty claws and an even nastier bite. Usually, Alphens stick to themselves, but sometimes a family of them will make a den together. It's best to give Alphen their space, unless you have no other choice. Colovia doesn't have as many big predators as some of the outer provinces, but travelers still sometimes get attacked. You'll want to watch out for wolves, Colovian bears, snakes, and Alphen. Most of the time, though, it's the rats and muskrats that catch people unprepared. Don't worry about tanthas, they're harmless, unless you're an insect. There are two types of wolves in Colovia, Colovian wolves and Highlands wolves. Most of the big Colovian wolf packs of former days have been hunted down over the years, but you still should watch your back in the upland regions of the west, where the smaller, cleverer Highlands wolves make their dens. Most snakes in Colovia are small and harmless, but you should watch out for the diamond aspas. It likes to hang around populated places like farms and ranches, preying on the vermin underfoot. Farmers tolerate the aspas for pest control, but it's got a nasty, poisonous bite. Tanthas are furry, mischievous creatures that live in the western and southern parts of Colovia. They are not aggressive, but they like to steal anything that's not nailed down. You can generally find Tantha nests near rivers and lakes, stuffed full of shiny trinkets pilfered from nearby farms, or passing trade caravans.
What is this about?
You're imagining things.
Talk is free. What do you want? Hello, traveler. Can I get you a drink or some food? I've also got beds if you're looking to stay the night. The name's Lennox. I run the Anchor's Rest. It's not the Abbaset by any means, but their clientele don't often make it over here to Little Orinthia. Yes, we have one available. It's 10 gold for the rest of the day. Do you want it? It's yours for a day and night. Your room is on the second floor at the end of the hallway, just before the second flight of stairs. I have food and drinks for sale. including some nice bottles from Hammerfell that I buy from the White Scarab Company.
Probably nothing.
I also have beds to rent. Other than that, you might want to head to the top floor and talk to my friend Adelaphia. She offers training and has some tools for sale.
You're an anvil, the jewel of the West. It's easy to get lost in the city. Are you looking for someone in particular, or a specific place? There's a lot more alchemical soap and oil on the market lately, you know, Slowed Soap. They make it out east for perfumes and that kind of stuff. A very exclusive industry. It's strange to see so much of it coming in all at once. I am a pauper, one of the humble small folk. I make my way in the world as best I can, laboring in the fields, kitchens, and factories of lords and merchants. When times are good, I live well enough by my own work. When times are hard, I must hope for the charity of the nobles and wealthy merchants.
Welcome to the Anvil offices of the Imperial Geographical Society. Traveler, are you looking for someone in particular? The Imperial Geographical Society is a scholarly and professional society of geographers, cartographers, explorers, scouts, naturalists, and ethnographers, sponsored by the Empire. Our organization sponsors exploratory missions to chart wilderness areas and distant lands, coordinates academic research on geography, and publishes reference guides for public consumption, including the Pocket Guide to the Empire. I'm Baratea, a savant in training here at the Imperial Geographical Society. I assist the scholars here with their studies and arranged for guest scholars to visit from around the Western Empire. Cyrodil is our current visiting scholar. Have you been to Vardenfell? Ladius Ferunian's been scouring the harbor for anyone who can answer some questions about the island. You might want to have a chat with him. Skyrim, also known as the Old Kingdom or the Fatherland, was the first region of Tamriel, settled by humans from the continent of Atmora. The hardy, brave, warlike Nords, whose descendants still occupy this rugged land, though more restrained and civilized than their barbarian ancestors. The Nords of the pure blood still excel in the manly virtues of red war and bold exploration. Morrowind is the northeastmost province of the Tamrielic Empire, bounded on the north and east by the ocean, on the west by Skyrim, on the southwest by Cyrodil, also known as the Imperial Province, and on the south by Black Marsh, also known as Argonia. Most of the native Argonian population of Black Marsh is confined to the great inland waterways and impenetrable swamps of the southern interior. There are few roads here, and most travel is by boat. The coasts and the northwestern upland forests are largely uninhabited. For ages, the Dunmer have raided Black Marsh for slaves. Though the Empire has made this illegal, the practice persists, and Dunmer and Argonians have a long-standing and bitter hatred for one another. Cyrodil is the cradle of human imperial high culture on Tamriel. It is the largest region of the continent, and most is endless jungle. The imperial city is in the heartland, the fertile Nibene Valley. The densely populated Central Valley is surrounded by wild rainforests, drained by great rivers into the swamps of Argonia and Topal Bay. The land rises gradually to the west and sharply to the north. Between its western coast and its central valley are deciduous forests and mangrove swamps. The Nibene is the eastern half of Cyrodil, the imperial province, It is a humid and jungled land, riven by waterways flowing into Lake Rumari and the mighty river Nibin. The Nibene is administered by charters granted to Cyrodil's merchant nobility, a system overseen by the Imperial Hierophants. At the heart of the Nibene lies Cyrodil City, the capital of the Empire, and the largest city in the world. Nibenese Imperials are known for their civic traditions, myriad cults, and prowess in commerce. Cyrodil City, often called the Imperial City or simply the City, is the capital of the Empire of Tamriel, and the largest city in the known world, seated on 8 sacred isles on Lake Rumare. In the Heartlands, Cyrodil City is the center of everything Empire, its cultural influence, its political authority, its economic power, its military might. The city is crowned by White Gold Tower, a colossal structure atop the Imperial Palace, where the Emperor resides.
I suppose good day to you. Have you come to learn about Thras? I am the Surinder of Lilandril. The Imperial Geographical Society invited me to Anvil to speak on recent developments in our knowledge of Thras. Thras is the Tamrielic name for the homeland of the Slode in the far Abyssinian Sea. Perhaps land is a misnomer. Thras is one enormous complex that sprawls across a smattering of atolls. The Slode do not build out, they build up. The Pillar of Thras, the crowning structure of the Thracian conurbation, extends from deep beneath the sea into the outer atmosphere and beyond. From the pillar's summit, voyage ships bound for Tyr, Akavir, and the moons make their voyages far above any interference from Tamriel. Slode are the slug-like inhabitants of Thras, a realm in the Abyssinian Sea with a long history of conflict with Tamriel. It was the Slode who unleashed the Thracian plague on the continent in the First Ara, and who served as the most loyal acolytes of the god of worms in his quest to supplant death. The Slode are a deeply cautious, inscrutable people with an alien way of thinking. Their interests are often said to be perpendicular to those of Tamriel, and they are almost never seen outside their outposts. The Abyssinian Sea lies between Cyrodil, Hammerfell, the Somerset Isles, and the Eltharic Ocean. It is a placid sea, crisscrossed by trade lanes that connect the major ports of the west. The Abyssinian is full of small islands and a few big ones. The closest large island to Cyrodil is Stirk Isle, just off the Strident coast. But there are several smaller ones near mainland Cyrodil, like the Maikoi Isles and the Viduscan Isles. Hammerfell is primarily an urban and maritime province, with most of its population confined to the great port and trade cities. The interior is sparsely populated with small, poor farms and beast herds. The Redguard love of travel, adventure, and the high seas has dispersed them as sailors, mercenaries, and adventurers in ports of call throughout the Empire. The Somerset Isle is a green and pleasant land of fertile farmlands, woodland parks, and ancient towers and manors. Most settlements are small and isolated, and dominated by ruling seats of the local wizard or warlord. The isle has few good natural ports, and the natives are unwelcoming to foreigners. So the ancient, chivalric high culture of the Altmer is little affected by modern imperial mercantilism. Stirk is the easternmost of the Aviation Sea's large islands, and the only one considered part of Cyrodil. favored by kind weather, good soils, and a pleasant tropical climate, Stirk is nevertheless quite isolated, which has left it on the periphery of the Cyrodilic world since its conquest from the Aelids by the Colovian estates in ancient times. The only settlement on Stirk is the town of Charok. The Mycoi Isles are a scattering of low sandbars and small islands in the Abyssinian Sea north and east of Stirk Isle. They are largely uninhabited, aside from a lighthouse maintained by the Republic of Rihad on Mycoi, the isle closest to mainland Hammerfell, an ancient outpost of the Rorcan dwarves called Acharams, can be found on Olvos, the largest and westernmost of the Mycoi group, while a volcanic caldera to Olvos's east hosts what remains of the Oilid Ocean citadel called Nagairel. The Viduscan Isles are a chain of sandbars and small islands surrounding the White Reef in the Abyssinian Sea between Stirk Isle and the Cyrodil mainland. They are largely uninhabited, though rumors persist of vicious pirates, cunning smugglers, and even seafaring goblins who take advantage of the archipelago's isolation. Fabriasel, a half-sunken Aelid outpost in the Viduscan Isles, is a well-known landmark for passing ships on the trade lanes. Goblins are beastly little creatures who live in the hinterlands of Colovia, where they prey on wild game, errant travelers, and each other. In the Kingdom of Anvil, there are 3 active goblin tribes: the Bitterfish tribe, the Broken Fang tribe, and the Weave Reaver tribe. Charok is a town on Stirk Isle in the Abyssinian Sea. Charok has traditionally been of interest to pilgrims of Kinnereth, but more recently it's become something of a vacation destination for wealthy tourists from Cyrodil's heartlands and the Iliac Bay. Because Stirk Isle lies in the center of the great quadrilateral trade route between Anvil, Rihad, Strosmakai, and Firsthold, Charok has long been the bellwether for the health of the Arbacian economy. The Bitterfish tribe of goblins is known to live along the banks of the River Strid, where they prey on fish and the leavings of river merchants. The Broken Fang tribe of goblins are known to live in the uplands of the Brennan Bluffs and Strident Coast regions, where they lair in caves and ruins to ambush caravanners. The Wave Rider tribe of goblins has mastered well somewhat the art of boat building and navigation. They mainly make their lairs on small, otherwise uninhabited islands in the Abyssinian Sea, like the Viduscan Isles. Their small rafts stand no chance against bigger trade and passenger ships, but sometimes they attack skiffs and fishing boats, or raid isolated farmhouses near the coast.